Hi, and welcome to how to make a photo montage video using Final Cut Pro 7. A lot of people like to make photo montages or scrapbooks of their photos that they took at birthday parties, or maybe they did an arts and crafts how-to, or like a recipe how-to, but they don't really quite want to mess with the actual video camera of their project. They would rather just take still images. But then you have a question of how do I get that on the internet so people can see? Well, you can make a video with your still images using Final Cut Pro 7. So that's what we're going to show you here today. Okay, so what you're going to need to do first is you're going to need to make a source folder for all of your media. And I like to put it on my desktop so it's easy to find. It's very important that you don't move this folder around until you're finished with your project. The editing software does not like it if the source file is moved because it doesn't know where to find it. It can't look through all of your hard drives to know where you're wanting it to look for. So keep it in one place, and I'm going to put this one here on my desktop so it's easy to find. So it's called Cake Pop Photo Videos. I make very, very good cake pops. So I took photos of me making these cake pops, and we're going to use that as our images for our video. So I've put the ones that I want here in my source file, and they're just called cake pops. And here are all the images. From the top is the beginning, and it goes from cooking the cake to melting the candy melts, to putting the sticks in, and so on. That's not the point of the video right now. So, and also I've got some fun music that we're going to put in underneath it. It's just some little island music. People seem to enjoy it. So we have those here in our source file that is located on our desktop. Okay, so now we're going to want to go and open Final Cut Pro 7. Okay, so I have it here and there's no project open yet. So we want to do File, New Project. And these presets are usually fine. You don't want to be messing with those, so click OK. Now this Select Sequence preset, we're going to select the one for YouTube, which these are all video presets. And we are not using video. We are going to export as video. So this is where this project gets a little bit tricky. YouTube really prefers this Apple ProRes 422. We're going to select this high def version, and hopefully the software will adapt it. So when you put the images in your timeline. So we're going to click OK. Okay, so now we have this untitled project. So we want to go ahead and save that project in that original source file that we made that's on our desktop. So desktop, Cake Pop Photo Video, and we're going to title this Cake Pop Photo Video. And I like to put FCP, that stands for Final Cut Pro, in the title of the file. That way, should I ever be viewing these files without the extension showing, I know right away that this one is the Final Cut Pro file and not an exported video file or any of my images. That's just a tip that I do. You don't have to do it that way. So we're going to hit save. So now we still have a blank project. There's nothing in here, no music, no images to play with. So we're going to File. We're going to import those. So we're going to import just a file at first, which is the audio file. So it automatically click here to our desktop. If it doesn't, you want to click desktop or wherever you have it located. And this is Cake Pop Photo Video. And we're going to select the island music. Choose. And it puts it here in our bin. And there's a little speaker icon there to let you know that that one's audio. So now we need our images. So import, and that's a whole folder for our images. So we want to select folder, and here it is again on our desktop. And expand a little bit more so we can see which one is our source file. Here we go, Cake Pop Photo Video, and a Cake Pop, so it's a whole folder. So we want to choose that. And here we go. we have our images. So if you double click on those, you will see those here in the viewer. Okay, so this one is actually what we want at the end. This is some ones that I made for Easter, and I packaged them all pretty and put them in the Easter basket. So we don't want those at the front per se. You know, if you want it in the front of your video, you can have the finished product and then return to it at the end. It's up to your style. But we would like to start with this one, which is a shot of all of our photos, of all of our ingredients. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to go down because these were taken in order of how you make the cake pops. So luckily, we don't have to do any ordering. So we're going to select that third one, which is the first one that we want in our video. And we're going to go down to the bottom one. We're going to hold Shift down and click the left mouse key. And that highlights all of the images that we want. Then we're going to put the mouse cursor over one of them, hold the left key down on your mouse, and pull it down into your timeline. So now we have all of them here on our timeline in order. This tool here lets you see your entire video. You can scroll back and forth, and you can use the handles on that to make it really short or really wide. Okay, so we start out here with our ingredients, and we move on to cooking the cake, pouring the cake batter, and so on. Okay, so each video, each image right now is 5 seconds. You can tell from your starting cursor to right here, and it tells you 5 seconds. Then we go up to 10 seconds, and so on. So the very end of our video is right at 4:35. Okay, our music is only 4 minutes long, I believe. So we kind of want to tailor this to our music so we don't have to do any editing to the music. So we're going to press and hold down the left mouse key and drop our music in at the front. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, we're at the very front. So we've dropped in our music, and our music is about 4 minutes long. So we don't want to have to loop our music because that's extremely difficult to do for beginners. So what we want to do is we want to make our video run about the time of our music, which is just under 4 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and see if we can live without any of these photos. These are a little bit redundant, so we're going to hit the delete key to get rid of those. And as you can see, it's pulling it a little bit closer to our finished time. And remember, we also need to add those two finished product. So this was just kind of a real pretty shot that I thought, but we don't have to have it, so we're going to delete that. Those are the same pretty much, so we're going to delete that. Let's see. Alright, we did that one. That was 3. Okay, so now all these are about the same time as music. We still need to lose a couple, or at least one more. We'll lose that one so we can put this picture in. Okay. So now that runs to the right at the end of the music. You can see that running there. So we're going to cut this music off using our razor blade tool. Looks a little razor blade there. You just click that with your left mouse key and make it cut this extra music that is not needed so that your video will stop at the end of your actual images and not at the end of the audio file. So here we have this image here. We're going to pull that out to where it matches the end of that. Alright, so now we go to the front of our video. We have, look at that, with our music and our images that go through all of the steps on how to make cake pops. You don't have to worry about recording audio, and usually your music is already at the best audio level. If you need to adjust it, if it's a little bit loud, loud would be here, and these would be going into the red, your audio levels. You don't want them going into your red. So we're gonna put those back where they were so that they're just loud enough. Okay, so you see we have all of the steps in making cake pops all the way to the end. Alright, so I mean you can do this with a birthday party or crafts, making hummingbird feeders. You can do this with, you know, washing your car if you'd like. I mean, just whatever photos you want to take of you doing something. You don't have to use video for how to video. Okay, so what we have now is these images need to actually render. And there's two types of rendering. There's the rendering for the timeline, and then there's actually outputting to a movie file. Okay, but right now we need to render it so that the actual project is happening. You don't have these green and red lines up here that let you know that the images aren't quite jiving with the timeline. This is all real technical stuff, and you really don't have to know this just to use this video software. So we're going to render by going to Sequence, Render All. And depending on your processor and how much RAM you have and how many projects, applications are already open, you know, this could take 10 minutes, it could take 2 minutes. Almost done. Okay, now we have rendered our timeline. Okay, so you can use your bar here to go to the front of your video and check it. And it's a good idea to play it all the way through. And this here is what you're actually seeing as the movie. Okay, we're not going to play it all the way through. We are ready to actually render this into a movie. And this file that we're going to render is what you can take and put it on Facebook or YouTube or Vimeo or whatever. If you have your own website, this file is a movie file using QuickTime. That's what it plays back. So this is what you can use to upload it to whatever website you'd like. So we are going to go to File, Export, and we don't just do a QuickTime movie. Those are quite large if you select that. So we're going to use QuickTime Conversion. Okay. So this is where I want the name of your movie, and this is kind of where I was saying that putting the FCP in your Final Cut Pro editing file may come in handy, and that way you're not getting your project file mixed up with your actual video file. So we're going to name this Cake Pop. And if this is going on the internet, just a handy suggestion when you're naming files is to use the underscores. Don't use spaces in your file names. It's not imperative that you do that, but it's a good tip. So we're going to Cake Pop Photo Video, and if you want to do more than one version, then you can number it. Or you can just leave it that, and you don't even have to put the MOV. You can just go ahead and do the 01. It's up to your preferences, okay? So this is where we're going to tell it how big a file we want. And if it's going to be on YouTube, we want a smaller file. So we want to go to Options and Right now it's at the right compression rate, H.264 is YouTube. The keyframe, we don't have to worry about the keyframe rate, we don't have any keyframes. The size, if you want a bigger size, here for your quality, this one probably could just be medium. We don't really have to have it, it doesn't really need a great lot of detail. So we're going to click on medium. This would make it, one, make the file size smaller, and two, it's going to render a little bit faster. So we're going to click OK. And you want to make sure that the sound is on that. And it's going to that same Cake Pop photo video source file that we had on our desktop. That way we can find it later. And we have our right title. So we're going to click Save. And depending on how many videos are in your timeline and maybe the size, if you use like a DSLR to take your images, then those images might be a lot larger than the iPhone 4 images. So, and again, your processor time and how many other applications you may have open, all that's going to vary on how long this is going to take. There it goes. Alright. Didn't take as long as it initially had said it would. So now that our video is rendered, we want to go and find it, and we put it where we know where we could find it, here in our source file, the Cake Pop photo video source file. And here we have our QuickTime movie, and it's labeled Cake Pop Photo Video 01.mov because it's a QuickTime file and those are .movs. So if we want to play it full screen, double click on it. It's going to open up the QuickTime file player, and here we have a video. We can hit play. Okay, and you get and see, it ends right there with the music. So you get the picture. So you just watched how to make a photo montage video using Final Cut Pro 7. There's no need to go out and buy an expensive camera if you have some good editing software like Final Cut Pro 7. You can just use your still images that you take of your project and make them into a video. Music can be found on the internet. Most of the time you need to pay for music. Educational purposes, you can use the Fair Use Act, so you could possibly use music from your iTunes. You just have to be careful with that and know your copyright, and make sure you have the license for your music. So there you have it. The steps to remember, the most important steps are to make sure to have your source file located in a place where you know where it is, so you can find it easily and you're not going to be moving it around. After you make your video, your movie file, you can, and you're not going to go back to that project, then you can move it, store it onto an external drive for backup. You don't need to leave it there on your desktop forever and ever. You can always link it back if you ever need to get to it again. But while you're using your project actively, leave that source folder there where you originally have placed it. So that's our review. Enjoy making your video montages. Thanks.